Did you know that eating ice cream when you're upset actually makes you feel worse? Yeah. I want you to forget everything you think you know about emotional eating. So the diets that tell you to like moderate your junk food and have some so you don't overdo it. Every self-help book that told you to journal your feelings or find coping mechanisms that are healthier. We need to put these ideas down because they don't work. This is decades of manipulation and lies that we're trying to fight. And they want you to believe that your cravings and binges are your fault. Now, I used to believe these people, right? These companies, I used to believe them. And then I figured out that emotional eating is a brilliant, insidious lie. It's a lie that's designed to keep us trapped, so to keep you trapped in a cycle of shame and self-blame, never realizing the real reason you can't stop eating their foolishness. Today, I'm going to expose the truth so that you can finally break free of the lies. So, like I said, I've been where you are, in the stress or the boredom or the sadness, and all of a sudden, you have cravings, right? You want to eat something, and then you do eat it, and you feel shame and guilt because what am I doing? And you promise yourself that you are never going to do that again. And then it starts all over again. Emotional eating, calling this emotional eating makes it seem like I'm eating because my feelings are making me do that. But the truth of the matter is, when you're emotional, you cry or you scream and you get when you're angry but you don't get emotional and automatically want to eat until you're trained, taught, manipulated to do that. When you want to eat, actually, it's because you're hungry, or at least that's how it started out. Like it started out that you would have been hungry and got a hungry and you would have eaten something. So by putting this emotional eating label on things, where does the blame lie? It lies with me, right? There's an internal conversation that I end up having with myself about how I lack willpower. I couldn't not touch the thing. I'm so weak, right? I just can't control myself when I'm feeling down. But again, at Wellness Hour, I want you to understand that when we look at children, this is not what happens. A kid doesn't get upset and then all of a sudden want to eat something. And if the kid is upset and wants to eat something, it's because we offered it to them. Okay. I want to make sure that I'm clear on this. Like, how do they actually get us to be pulled into this cycle? The biggest thing that I see that they do is they offer these faulty tips and tricks, right? They tell us that we could distract ourselves away from eating. So let's say they might say journal, right? If you do journal entries every time you get upset, you're not going to be eating the thing. You're going to be writing in your journal. But if you ever stopped and think about like what happens when I am really upset for whatever reason and I stop and I start journaling, the journaling process doesn't change the fact that I've been taught throughout my history that eating ice cream when I'm sad will make me feel better. So even though I might end up journaling, I'm writing down all this negative information that I have in me. But one of the things that, and I've read a few books that talk about journaling, one of the things that's very frustrating to me is they want you to go into elaborate detail about what went wrong and how it made you feel. But very rarely do they give you any kind of direction on how to solve it because they can't. So I do all this writing and I'm very clear in why this bothered me. But because I don't get any information that helps me understand how to solve problems, the journaling doesn't actually change my life. And I still feel sad at the end of it. And I go and I self-soothe the food anyway. Now, when we do self-soothe the food, then we're going to have that whole thing will be moderate in whatever you take, right? Because that's the other thing. Everything in moderation. As long as you're keeping yourself to a small amount, you shouldn't have a problem like the rest of the world. You shouldn't have a problem. Well, here's the problem. How do we be moderate when we think that this food that we have in front of us is supposed to help me feel better? Aren't I going to eat until I've eaten enough to feel better? And since what I'm trying to solve is emotional, this is never going to make me feel better. I'm always going to be I'm just going to eat and eat and eat. Do you see the trap? It's not just that it feels ineffective, wellness warrior. It is that it's ineffective because I was emotional for a something actually happened in my life that caused me to get upset. And I was emotional. I feel like they're trying to get us to put out a fire, but they give us just like a cup to like throw, and the fire is raging, and they're like, use this cup and throw water on it. And it's never gonna be, it's not even an answer. It's a pretend answer. Feel like you did something. Throw this cup of water on the raging fire. It's not gonna work. So what ends up happening is that we spin. We're and okay, so I want to back up. And when I was a kid, my parents had very different styles about how to solve emotions. And I'm saying it's about solving. But I want to point something out to you. My parents, very different styles, right? If somebody was bothering me, my mom would have told me, play with someone else. There's so many kids at your school. Find another friend. Versus my dad would told me, stand up for yourself, right? If they're bothering you, like answer them back or push back or whatever. I want to point out something. These are very different solutions, but they both address the situation. I'm not saying that there's one answer for everyone, which is why most of these self-help books cannot give you an answer. You need to actually interact with someone on the topic you're struggling with in order to find the answer. And this seems like the best place to talk to you about the fact that I have a community where we get together and talk these things through, because it's the point of it, right? When you talk to someone else who's living problems, you can find how to solve problems, whether they're related to food or related to life. If we want to be healthy, we need to solve all of them. So my point, the solution was focused on what was happened to me as a kid, right? There was a kid bothering me, giving me a cookie or giving me some ice cream wasn't going to make me feel better. So that's not what they did. It wasn't going to solve the problem. So that's not what they did. Because what was going to make me feel better was to know what to do tomorrow. And Wellness Warrior, you need to understand that. Even when they give you this idea that journaling is going to do, does it help you to know, to figure out what to do tomorrow? Emotional eating is a deliberate, misleading label that they put on it so that they can give you this pretend answer And so they're labeling the bad behavior as emotional eating. And then you end up avoiding solving your problems for days, weeks, months, because you're never going to solve your problems by eating something. Real world problems need real world solutions. Now, you have to ask yourself, why would they encourage this? Right? So why do they come up with these different things that you're going to do, or these tricks to overcome emotional eating? Why don't they just tell you you're not eating emotionally, you're avoiding, because that's what you're doing. I'm not sure if I was clear about that. You're avoiding. When you eat rather than solve the real world problem, that's avoidance. So why don't the people who are trying to help us tell us this? And honestly, I need you to understand that the answer is actually pretty sick. It's pretty gross. It's horrible, actually. The real issue here is that the processed food industry has a really big vested interest in us eating this way. And we can't see that the companies take advantage of us because we're so used to it. We are actually enslaved to it. We are, it's, this is what they do, right? It's like we are just blind to what they've been doing all this time. So there's a bit of science to how they're doing this to us that I want to explain really, really quick here. Because way back in the 1970s, they created what they call hyper palatable foods. Are you coming? They created hyper palatable foods. Oh my goodness. You got to behave. Um, so hyper palatable foods is the perfect combination of salt, sugar, and fat that gets us to eat processed foods in excessive amounts. And I want to go back in time and point out that the reason that processed foods were originally created wasn't to harm us. At least not that I believe I understood it to be that way. It was about the war and feeding, soldiers on the field. And then it was also about, because women were in the workforce, we needed faster things to cook. So, because we were expected to go out and work and expected to make the meals. So it helped people in the kitchen. But you fast forward to today, the healthy foods they tried to make processed for us so that we could still have a healthy meal at home while the mothers of the families were out working have turned into ridiculous, nutrient deficient stupidities that we eat. So I'm talking about like things like, crackers and even worse, chocolate bars. These stupid things that are not healthy for us. But then you get the stuff like this, like keto friendly protein bars or regular protein bars I just dropped on the floor that they don't give us the quality protein that you would have gotten if you actually cooked the meal. So going back to the hyper palatable foods, in a laboratory, they've figured out the salt, sugar, fat combination that actually hijacks our brain, and it targets the reward system of our brain, and it, just like any other addictive stupidity, it causes us to chase it. So you eat a cookie, but one is not enough. Once you're in this chasing cycle, you need 7, 12, 15 cookies to feel like you've had enough. And a lot of the times it's probably just because you feel ashamed and you stop eating. These foods create a craving loop. But here's the thing. When we first eat them, the loop isn't created from one interaction, wellness warrior. The, the loop is created because we interact a lot. We need to stop calling this kind of packaged stuff, we need to stop calling it food because it's not. It's processed stupidity that they've tricked us into eating because it reaches the perfect bliss point and has a terrific mouthfeel and all these engineered things that they're doing. Do you understand, Wellness Warrior, that they even um, they have a way of engaging with salt where they create different types of crystals to figure out which salt crystal shape would get us to chase the chips more. Everything they do is about making us overeat, not about helping us to be healthy. So if I understand that these foods are deliberately crafted to bypass my brain's natural satiety, to engage the addictive part of my brain, that it's there to create a dependency, then I would start to understand. And what I'm hoping you're going to start to do is really understand what I'm saying. These foods aren't designed to nourish you, they're designed to make you crave more and more and more. And they blame us. They blame us for overeating them. And even when they will try to say that they're going to help us out, they'll do things like invent new lies. Eat less, move more. It's another beautiful lie. They're really, the marketing that's behind keeping us eating the way that we eat is amazing. When they got cornered back in the 70s, maybe 80s, I'm not exact. Back when this eat less, move more lie came on the scene, it was because they got cornered. People started to figure out that it's only since processed stupidity came into our life that we started to be overeating. And especially the really, really fun ones, like the really, really dumb stuff that we can eat, when that stuff came on the scene, really weight started rising. And people started to push back. Is it possible that all this sugar that we're eating is problematic? So what did they do? Eat less, move more was really about, and again, you need to check out Michael Moss's book. I don't think I've linked it, but I will link it below after the stream. Michael Moss has a book where he talks about the fact that all the major food companies actually had a meeting together to figure out how they were going to stop us from putting down the food that they knew was causing us to gain weight, that they knew was causing us to be obese. Keep in mind, we already knew that excessive weight on the body would cause health problems. And the company's goal wasn't for people to be healthy. The company's goal was to figure out how do we keep them eating the stuff that's making us money. And they came up with, well, you're just overeating it. If you would eat less and exercise more, you'd be fine, which is the food company creating this addictive product and then saying, keep eating this and exercise more. When they know that if I keep eating that, they've designed it in a way that I will overeat it every single time. As a matter of fact, this is a little single serving pouch. I'm wondering, oh yeah, so it is, they do say one package on the nutrition label. Oftentimes you'll get little packages like this, but the nutrition label is for half the package. I've seen that so many times, especially when you buy things in what do you call it? Like, depend. I want to say depender. That's what you call them in English. But the corner store, the gas station, when you buy things there, oftentimes you buy a little package, but it's double the serving size. And then of course they'll tell you what a great deal you're getting. We eat the whole package. They are putting the blame on us and saying that we don't have the willpower it takes to eat one or two cookies. We don't have the willpower it takes to eat. I can be honest with you. This little package, which is 42 grams of crackers, I probably would have eaten two of those if I because I would have given one to my daughter. So clearly I need two, right? That would have given me 50 grams of carbohydrates, Wellness Warrior. I really, it's a struggle for me to understand how well they've hidden from us that these foods, they're just, they're going to blame us every time, right? You do not move enough. It's your fault. They want you to feel personally responsible so that you never question, could it be the healthy cheese and crackers that I bought? Could that be what's causing my weight gain? You're never going to question that. But today, I want you to start to question it because I want you to see where this is not a failure of your character. This is a success of their engineered product. It's a success of their amazing marketing. They are great at getting you and I to do the wrong thing because they were great at getting our ancestors. So this lie goes back so far from the first processed food. I wouldn't say from the first. I can't say that. That's not true. The first processed food was about a religion. So I can't say that. But as soon as companies took over and started to see the marketing and the money that they could make, it stopped being about your good health and it started being about how can we package this product in a way to get you to buy as much as you possibly can and blame yourself for overeating it. Because of course I have to have cookies in the house. I have, whether it's for myself, for my guests, or for my children, we find a way to tell ourselves that this is just normal. Everybody has bread in the fridge or on the counter, right? Everybody has rice and potatoes and you know okay, so why am I bringing those things up? Rice and potatoes and vegetables. What are these processed foods made from? They're made from the wheat, the healthy whole wheats. They're made from the sugar comes from those healthy vegetables, right? Beet. We get sugar from beets. From fruits, we get sugar from fruits. We don't realize how everything that is even healthy for us gets converted into being less healthy for us. And everything can be manipulated so that it makes us want the chocolate bar even more. And it's maddening and it's frustrating and it's working. It's working because you end up blaming your emotions when you overeat. Emotions do not make you overeat. A lack of willpower does not cause you to chase cookies and ice cream and stupidity. What actually makes you do that is the fact that you ate cookies in the first place. I want you to think about this from the point of view that when you take your first drink, first of all, it probably didn't taste good to you. I know the first time that I had beer, I thought, ick, why does anybody drink that? And the first time that I had a hard drink, it was like, oh my gosh, why would you do that? But we're doing it, right? And because we want to fit in, we do it. And the unfortunate reality is that by doing it and doing it, you end up allowing this to be now the normal thing that you do. Food companies are strong. The entire world eats processed food. It's not just North America anymore. We've shifted across the world. Food companies are strong. They have us. And I know that there's probably everyone in the comments saying, okay, How do we fight against this powerhouse that, by the way, has adults, so us parents, starting our children off on this stupidity? Because that's what I did. I gave this stuff to my children, right? My daughter, we she started her life off with very, very sweet banana and processed oatmeal. And the banana, I'm saying very sweet because it was processed. We don't even realize that we're setting our children up to chase from day one. And the only way that we're going to win this fight, Wellness Warrior, is we need to look at it like we are actually fighting Goliath. Step one is to understand your strengths and understand their tricks. Because it's only by understanding where we shine that I can see through the tricks, first of all. So that's going to be one of your strengths moving forward, that you understand that every processed food that you're eating is focused on the fact that you want easy, you want quick, you want the answer immediately. They're playing into that and they're giving you something that tastes fun. They're giving you something that will excite your brain and it's going to get you to overeat. They're luring you in. If you focus on understanding their trick and using your strength of understanding that trick, then guess what you do? You've got now just created your slingshot and you can win this, Wellness Warrior. Honestly, you need to understand that it's not your fault you got addicted, but it's your responsibility to heal it. And I hope that you see that there's power in that sentence. You didn't cause this problem, but the fact that you can change it means that walking forward, anyone tries to trick you, you're going to be able to see it and act on it. You need my diet product to get through that is another step in them taking you into their system, right? The first time I hook you with easy and fast. And the second time I hook you with, this tastes just as good. It's easy and it'll work. And the third time I hook you with, well, now you're sick and you need this medication. And don't be fooled, Wellness Warrior. All of these companies are under the same like they all touch each other. They all feed each other. It's all the same Goliaths at the top working together to keep us eating their stuff, to need their diet stuff, to need their medication, to need their operations and their medical care, and the so on and so on. If we don't understand that that's what's happening, we're not going to be able to do what we need to do. Because the next part of this process, once you see the trick, is to take action on eliminating the addictive substances out of your diet. Yeah, that means removing processed food out of your diet. Meat, fish, poultry, eggs. If you has a real name, that's real protein that your body can use. Vegetables that are one ingredient, that's real food that your body can use. You want to make real food. Yes, does that mean you're going to be cooking? That means you're going to be cooking. I know. I'm saying the thing that we got this far because we wanted easy. We wanted processed foods to help keep us out of the kitchen. And I'm really trying to help you see that's how they're getting us, right? This is easy, and then the addiction grabs us and that has us, and we can't get out of it. The refined carbohydrates that are in everything, because meat, fish, poultry, and eggs are not refined carbohydrates, but every vegetable, every fruit, all wheat, all seeds, all nuts can be turned into refined carbohydrates of some sort, right? And they're going to tell you it's healthy because it's made from wheat, but it's also unhealthy because it's made from wheat. And there's so much more to go into because the seed oils that are in there too. We stop eating the healthy meat, fish, poultry, eggs, so those animal fats, and we replace them with these unhealthy seed oils. And we're trying to build our body with unhealthy seed oil. And we don't understand why our skin has lost its elasticity. We don't understand why our skin, when it repairs itself, has so many more scars now. You know what happens when you remove those seed oils from your diet? Your skin elasticity comes back. Your ability to repair yourself comes back. We need to stop falling for the lies, Wellness Warrior. Now, as you can see, this is where the keto diet and the carnivore diet can be really helpful because it focuses you on eating real foods that actually help not only give you quality things to build your body with, meat, fish, poultry, and eggs, but it also helps you to minimize the chasing of processed, damaging garbage that's ruining your life. So, I want you to embrace real food. I don't know if I'm being clear enough in what I'm saying right now. Because when we replace garbage with nutrient-dense, real foods, we give our body exactly what it's been looking for, what it understands. And I'm going to add something here. I'm not an advocate of spicy, processed spices on your food, but we need salt. I see a lot of places where they trick us. They say, don't eat salt. So they will tell you to make your meals at home salt free. But when you turn the package over and see the amount of salt in this stuff, you start to understand that on some level, they trick us into needing that stuff because it's the only place the salt is coming from. We need salt. When you eat home-cooked meals where you haven't put enough salt in it, and months and months and months of eating very low salt, and you're not eating these processed things, guess what happens? You don't feel great. Guess what happens? Your body can't manage you the best way that it can because you know what? Every single cell in your body has a sodium potassium pump, a bunch of them, because they help balance minerals and all the, again, you need salt. Every cell of your body needs salt. Okay. We're retraining our brain, Wellness Warrior, and we're retraining our palate. By eating real food every day and putting down the processed stuff, what you end up doing is you end up training your brain to understand that it can live a healthy, happy life without the dopamine hit, without all the rush of hormones that happens when we eat processed stupidity. Garbage isn't helping you to feel better. It's putting you on a hamster wheel, chasing feeling better. Your cravings are not going to go away overnight, but they will diminish over time until you don't have them anymore. And that's because your brain has recalibrated and it's back to normal. Same thing with your palate. You know, some of the foods are going to taste bland. And this is part of the reason I'm not necessarily saying, throw away the spices immediately. Of all the things that you're eating, the spices are not the most dangerous thing. So using some spice to help yourself. But I want you to have a long-term goal, Wellness Warrior, of eating real food and really seeing what you're doing with some kind of reality. Meat, fish, poultry, eggs, that is real food. And everything else, and salt, and everything else that we eat, we're eating for fun. We're entertaining ourselves with our plate. And it's causing health problems. It's causing excess weight. It's causing us to not enjoy our lives. But I want you to be kind to yourself at the beginning, because the only way that we beat the companies who are claiming to be kind, even though they're setting us up for poor health, they claim to be kind. Everything on their packaging sounds like it's good for you. What I'm telling you is good for you. But getting to that finish line, be kind to yourself. Rather than get mad because you ate a cookie, recognize that eating the cookie made you chase. Recognize that eating the cookie made you want ice cream or made you have 3 slices of bread. Because sometimes the things we chase with Wellness Warrior are not strictly the bad stuff. Sometimes we chase with an extra helping of rice. Sometimes we chase with more pasta. One of the most difficult things that it is for us to see when we're looking at this from the perspective of food is that because we call everything food rather than only calling meat, fish, poultry, and eggs food, when we eat these carbohydrate heavy things we call food, like potatoes, like rice, we don't see that as chasing. But the same way that if you saw an alcoholic drinking mouthwash, you would recognize that they were chasing the alcohol in the mouthwash. You need to understand that extra serving of rice is doing the same thing in the reward center of your brain. We need to understand the biology if we're going to reclaim our biology from these wicked food companies that only care about getting our money. Remember, this is not about testing your willpower. When the alcoholic, 7 years later, decides to test their willpower and has a drink, what happens to them? We've seen it over and over. They're on a bender. Don't do it to yourself, Wellness Warrior. Most of you don't even wait 7 years to test. You test after 2 months because you think I must be better by now. This is not about being better. It's about understanding what the companies have let loose in your brain. If you don't understand what they've let loose in your brain, then you're not going to focus on health. You're going to be focused too much on escaping being overweight rather than getting your body to a healthy place. I'm not even trying to say this is about perfection because I'm not allowing you anything. But I'm saying is that using spices in the beginning, using vegetables and even low glycemic fruits and vegetables in the beginning, that's not perfect. Perfect would be meat, fish, poultry, eggs. So this is not about perfection. It's about getting away from the grips of the food companies who are tricking you into thinking that crackers are tricking you into thinking that pasta is real food. It's not real food. It's a concoction. It's a pretend stupidity that we eat that makes our body struggle. So if we're looking long term, what we're really trying to do is set ourselves up for good health and freedom. The freedom to eat what tastes good to us, because again, we've retrained our palate to eat what tastes delicious and then live our life in a healthy body that feels amazing, that has energy, that thinks clearly. This isn't about aesthetics. It's not about just being pretty. Although the funny part about this, so can I just say that, is that when you eat healthy, your body regulates your weight. When you eat healthy, your skin clears up. When you eat healthy, all the things that need healing heal. Because your body has the meat, fish, poultry, and eggs that it needs to heal you. I really want you to see that beauty is secondary to healthy. We have it so backwards because companies have put that. I mean, again, There's a whole industry of makeup that target us ladies, wanting our face to look like that of children. What we don't understand is that the children haven't eaten the amount of garbage that we have. And so therefore the children's skin is not ruined as much as our skin is. How many times have you met people who were less into the junk food and their face, so their skin looks amazing? How many times have you met people who really embrace their keto carnivore lifestyle, and what happens? Their skin is clearing up. The rashes, my rashes went away. I no longer have rashes, Wellness Warrior. They went away. Food helps us to heal. But if you eat the pretend food that the food companies want you to eat, you're not going to heal. Wellness Warrior, I'm challenging you to put down the idea of emotional eating. It's a lie. It's a lie that they've trapped you into thinking that this is a way to make yourself feel better. It's a lie. I want you to put down those emotional eating ideas so that you can reclaim your health, and put down the processed foods. Let me know in the comments, do you agree with what I'm saying right now? In the chat, do you agree with what I'm saying right now? Can you see it? Can you see that they're tricking us into, basically we end up advertising to ourselves, right? Oh, I'm sad. What should I be doing? I should be eating ice cream, right? Isn't that what we've always learned? Every movie. If we put down these stupid foods, not only do we get rid, so if we get rid of processed foods, not only do we get rid of the sugar, we get rid of the seed oils. It's a 2-for-1, right? If that, there's my advertisement to you. It's a 2-for-1. You put down processed foods, you get rid of seed oils and excessive carbohydrates at the same time. Your health dramatically improves when you do this right, Wellness Warrior. I've seen it over and over again. And I want you to let me know when you've done it and you start seeing these improvements. I want you to talk about this. Okay. I hope that this is helping you to see that it's the addiction that's keeping you stuck and not emotional eating, because emotional eating is made up. If you want more help, to transition across to do keto and carnivore, or even low carb, if you want more help and you want people to talk about that are doing what you're doing, I really encourage you to check out my community, wellnesssquad.org. I really should have it on the screen, but I haven't been on here in a long time and I can't remember how to do it. But wellnesssquad.org. We also have coaching. Actually, it's in my description. So you can go down to my description. It's there. The community, the coaching, it's all down there. The journey is not easy, but it's worth every single step, Wellness Warrior. I feel amazing, and I wouldn't train how I feel today for a cookie or any junk food. I wouldn't trade it for having spices back. I wouldn't trade. Can I just say, I love how my food tastes. I spice my foods with salt, and occasionally I'll spice my foods with bacon. That's how I spice my foods. And I don't miss anything. I eat meat, fish, poultry, and eggs that are salted. And I feel amazing. And when I was doing keto, I felt amazing. The only reason I transitioned is because it made sense to transition. And in the end, my body was asking for more. You're going to know when your body's asking for more. Your body's asking you for something right now, can I point out? Because if you feel bloated or inflamed, if you feel that you are not having enough energy, if you have brain fog, and I didn't know I had brain fog until I did my keto lifestyle, because obviously I think for a living. I had no idea that my brain could have been clearer until I actually started eating healthy. And all of a sudden, there it was. I could think more clearly. So, Wellness Warrior, I really want you to understand that we're trading horrible for amazing. And to me, that's the best trade you can make. You are stronger than any craving when you put these steps into practice, right? You need to see the trick. You need to put the processed food down, and you need to eat for health. Meat, fish, poultry, eggs. You deserve to live free from this lie. You deserve to live in a healthy body. And if this is resonating with you, I want you to know that I'm going to be live every Monday going forward. I'm back basically 11:20. I'm going to be here. So you want to hit the subscribe button so that you're going to get those notifications. And honestly, I also want to encourage you to go and join my community because I have a goal that I'm going to be doing some office hours where we could talk in a smaller group and have real conversations where I don't have to worry about YouTube like not letting you know what's happening. You're going to be in the community, you're going to know the dates. It's going to be Monday later in the day. You're going to know the dates, you're going to know the times, and you can be able to come in and join the conversation. You guys have told me that you'd prefer 7 p.m. I ran a poll and you said 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to aim for that. And we're going to talk, Wellness Warrior. I want you to succeed. And the best way for you to succeed is to get started immediately. So join the community. Now let's take a look at the comments. And I'm not even sure how many of you are in here today. It's my first time back, but I just wanted to get started. I wanted to, hey, we've been 11 people. Thank you very much for the 11 people here. I'm going to say hello to Pat. Thank you for showing up, Pat. As always, I love that you're here. And yes, Corey did make an appearance. That's my cat, Corey. He's a beautiful Maine Coon. I'm so happy that I have him. And are there any questions today? Wellness Warrior, if you have questions, if you're still here and you have questions, I would love to answer any questions that you have. So-called friend or so-cal friend, I'm not really sure how to say your name. If it's Cal, like calorie, or if it's called, like called. Anyways, hello, nice to have you here. Nice to have you back, I should say, because you used to be here before. And Stephanie's here. Oh my goodness, I've been really enjoying answering your comments, Stephanie. Popped in to say hi, and that I'll catch it when it uploads later. Take care, everybody. Very happy that you were able to say hello. I appreciate that. And you have, so at Costco, the muffins look good, but I know they make me feel yucky. Honestly, I will say I totally do have that issue. Like you see all the food at Costco, at least I had it, I should say, at the very beginning. I saw all the food at Costco, and all you want to do at the beginning is put it in your cart. But trust me, not putting it in your cart ends up being the best thing you ever did for yourself. So I'm glad that you've been resisting. And I really do hope that, again, all of you got value out of this video today. I don't see any more comments. So since there aren't any, if there are some, if anyone wants to answer your question, this is the time to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to be ending. But like I said, next Monday, 11:20, I'll be back. And then in the evening, 7, I'm going to be in my community. No, yeah, in my community. So you need to go and join over there. It's linked in the description below. Go join. And that way you can be part of the conversation. And the good thing about being one of the first people, Wellness Warrior, is that that means that there will probably just be a few of you. You'll get to ask me questions. We can have a real conversation back and forth because it's going to be a live conversation in my community. Only people who join will be allowed in. So let's do this. I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys. All right. Well, have a great rest of your day, guys. See you next week.